Well, thank you all very much for being here today. And we're all putting our contact information. It's my pleasure, honor, and my privilege and my pleasure to introduce to you today a really awesome guy, but he's a great friend. And he's also a mentor of mine. I'm in his insiders group. And he'll tell us more about that. Larry Levine, he's a best-selling author of Selling from the Heart, which a lot of you have the book. Co-host of the Selling from the Heart podcast. Catalyst, I'm taking this from your signature, Larry. I hope
you could just say whatever comes to your heart and
I
your
know.
mind. Don't worry about it.
There is, thank you. We've had Larry speak for our groups twice over the pandemic time. And I probably shouldn't even say this out loud, but I've been sharing it with some of the groups. Prior to pandemic, I was trying to figure out how are we going to get him in and have him speak? Because I really, truly just I knew I'd met him at the Send Out Cards convention a couple years ago prior to pandemic. And I knew that just the message that he was sharing, I didn't even have the book at that time. Or I hadn't even heard the podcast. I hadn't heard anything. I just knew that what we were doing in TTR was something we needed. We needed to have this message brought to us. So the cool thing was we were able to get Larry. Once the pandemic hit, then we got him on Zoom. And then he's been able to do a couple for us, and it's been wonderful. So he agreed to do this today. I can't believe how quickly that goes. We scheduled them about a month and a half ago, and here we are. So Larry Levine was Selling from the Heart. Take it away.
No, and I appreciate it. We're gonna have a good time. I would say that's if we can do this, because we have a small group, let's make use of chat, because I want this to be working. I just don't want this to be me just sharing. I'll share, but I want us doing together. Is that fair? We good? I know and Jennifer, I might throw this back your way just for a moment, and
Yes,
you can
sir.
kind of tee this up and I'll play off of it. But I know the whole kind of conversation and where you really want to go with this is masterminding and community. And can you just give the foundation of why that's so important? And I'm gonna pick up from there. I'm gonna share my backstory just a little bit for those who don't know, and then I'm gonna share with you what we're doing inside our communities and how I'm masterminding and how it might relate to how you all help grow your business. Is that cool? Are we good? So I'll throw it back your way just for a second.
Just why it's so important. I've been networking for years. Some of you I've known a lot of those years. And I know you've been out there doing it too. And when you're doing it on your own, and you're doing it, you're going to all the things you need to be doing. There's something that's something pretty cool about getting together with other people and getting those connections, and that adrenaline starts pumping and you're really excited, but then you go off and you're on your own. Whether you're an employee of, which I was an insurance agent for a number of carriers, I always seemed to be on my own. I didn't have anybody really to work with on it, or nobody, in management. They didn't care. They wanted numbers. They didn't care. And I really, until I don't even know. I mean, B&I, I'll give credit to, because I was in B&I many years ago, and that was where the seeds of what we now are doing with TTR kind of started. For me, I knew that it worked. And what am I talking about? What I know works is when you're working with other people, even though they may be different industries, they're able to bring their experience, that two heads are better than one thing, they've been through things. And so our networking group that we started 10, almost 11 years ago now, I couldn't even imagine not being there on a Wednesday morning. And I don't think in 11 years, I might have missed a couple, but it was once that chemistry started. I mean, and some of you are, have been part of that. And now we have 14 groups. We have a mastermind that's really like digging deep into the mastermind idea. What's that? It's working together to help each other reach our goals. And so it's masterminding, and then we're also holding each other accountable. Every week, Jim Matthews, who's our Mr. What is it, Captain Commitment, isn't on the call today, but the idea of others knowing what your goals are. And Linda and I've been talking about that. I was very nervous about when I started sharing my goals. I was really afraid, what if I don't make them? What if I don't get there? And I was actually very pleasantly surprised that when I shared it with others, they helped me get there. It wasn't as much, I just had spent so much in my business world or my life being always in competition with others that the idea of working together really didn't even cross my mind. It sounds terrible. I can't believe I say that now, because that's what, every time I go to one of our groups, I'm just so excited that these good people are sharing their knowledge and they're not competing. Most of you aren't in the same industry, so that's not a worry, but you're like there to help each other. So the masterminding, when we put the themes together for our months, it was silly. March Mastermind, M&M. That's really why we put the March and Mastermind together. But then part of that is I'm a Canfield trainer. So Larry, you don't want to know all this stuff. But I mean, I don't need to share all this. But then we go into April. If you're masterminding, then the accountability is a natural thing. If you're not asking others to help you stay accountable, then you're missing what the real true part of it is, the mastermind and the accountability, working together, and then sharing what your goals are. We're not beating each other up in our mastermind if one week you don't get that particular thing done. You're encouraging each other, and I don't know, there are a couple of our masterminds on this group call, so I hope you would agree with that. I mean, we've just kind of gotten launched, but so I've been a part of Larry's Insiders group for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. And unfortunately, this year I haven't been as able to be on. But when I'm on, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. So I would encourage you, our TTR network, if you're a member of one of our groups or you're in another, take advantage of these opportunities to learn from others. I don't know, Larry, did I set it up? Okay.
Yeah, and I want to play off of what Jennifer said, and I just wanted her to kind of share a little bit and tee this up, because I'm a big believer that y'all are in this group here, but if y'all want to put in chat, or you can raise your hand or whatever, is you're in this group. How many of you are in multiple groups? Just by show of hands. Perfect. So and I learned this a lot. I learned this a long time ago, but I will tell you this. I'm just going to give you a quick backstory, but it's how I held myself accountable to what I was doing before, how I worked with my clients. It transferred to what I'm doing now. And then I'm going to share how I started my mastermind and my insiders group and what I bring in, and hopefully it encourages you all with some ideas and some insights. Are we good?
Yep. Sounds good.
So I live in Thousand Oaks, California. So I'm kind of sandwiched in between Santa Barbara, California, and Los Angeles, about 15 minutes inland from Malibu, just to kind of give you a visual. And my whole entire career, I sold copiers, the most commoditized thing that's out there in a highly competitive market, Los Angeles. That's the only sales channel I ever sold into until the day I was fired when I was 50 years old. And I'm 57 now. And the point behind this is, I know y'all are entrepreneurs. I didn't know what being an entrepreneur was until I was forced into entrepreneurship. I was in sales. I had all kinds of different sales roles. I owned my own company. I sold it. I went to go work in a Fortune 500 company in the copier channel. And then in the spring of 2015, I was fired and I was let go. And then I had to decide to do something else. I could either go back into sales or I could do something else. And the something else was I went into entrepreneurship. And I all want to let you know, I'm right there with you because I know how tough entrepreneurship is. You ride the emotional roller coaster in entrepreneurship. I know you all do because I ride it as well. But one of the things that I learned from my sales career, and I learned it through how I took care of my clients, is how to build community. And that's what I'd ask for us to start thinking about as you're building out and masterminding. Because to me, there's all kind, you're going to, if you ask 10 people their definition of community and mastermind, I think we'll all agree you're going to get 10 very different answers, though there might be some similarities to it. But one of the things that I brought to how I grew my business as an entrepreneur is I took the same approach that I did in sales, is I doubled down on the word community. That's what I'd ask for us to think about in our time together. And as you're building out your groups, is what does a community look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? And am I developing community inside my groups? And I share this because that's what I did with my clients. Now, I had clients in various industries all across the board, from educational to not-for-profit to the church sector to public and private schools and so forth. But one of the things that I made sure that I did inside my community was connect and engage to everybody I was doing business with. And then I used the term cross-pollinate. In other words, what I did is I made sure that people in my community knew each other. So let's just stop right there. Does anyone have any questions? And you can put it in chat. When I say cross-pollinate and I made sure that everybody in my community knew each other, where do you think I might be going with this? And you guys can just put this in chat, and then Jennifer, you can monitor it if you want. The purpose behind this is I wanted the community to grow by people getting to know each other and spreading the message.
Larry, Kim, do you have a question?
Or is Kim's hand just up?
I wasn't sure.
No, I'm sorry. I was answering a question earlier. It must just not have gone away.
Okay, no, that's all good. Thanks, Kim.
But Nicole does ask a question. Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah.
It's so she asked, how do you allow others in your group to know each other? I encourage it. I was proactive, and Jennifer knows this in the insiders group, and I'm going to get to the whole backstory behind this. But if I take you back to sales, when I was in sales, I still am in sales, but when I was doing my previous life, is I made sure my clients knew each other. I bridged introductions. I bridged them via email. Hey, Margaret, I'd like for you to get to know Linda. Linda, I'd like for you to get to know Angie. Here's the reason why. And I'm a massive believer that you're the let's call it the X factor. You're the conduit inside these groups, whether it's your own mastermind or it's your own community. Is I want you all to start thinking about how can it, whatever the size group it is, how can I foster community, and how can I bridge introductions, and how can I be that relational bridge to help me grow not only myself, but grow other members. And I took that philosophy to how I built Selling from the Heart, but it wasn't until, and I think I might have shared the story, Jennifer knows it, it wasn't until right around when I met Cody Bateman at Send Out Cards, and I started seeing what he was doing and how he was building community and how he was building groups. And I remember one day he said, Larry, you're doing a really great job at getting the message around selling from the heart out through your book, through your podcast, through your coaching, and so forth. He says, double down on building a sense of community. and watch what starts to happen to your business. Now, why am I saying this? Each one of us, you're in this group, you're in a mastermind, but some of us have more than one. And where I took what Cody Bateman said to heart and said, hey, if I'm going to build a group, if I'm going to build a mastermind, then I want it to be a safe place for people to come to, that they can share what's on their mind, what's on their heart. They're like-minded, they're like-hearted, they share similar values. And together we're going to hold each other accountable. Y'all smell what I'm cooking?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Sorry, I was a wrestling junkie when I was growing up. So nevertheless, I mean, you know who said that? It's Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. But nevertheless, this is what I want us to think about, because when I had that conversation with Cody, now this goes back about 3 weeks after the pandemic started. And I had really no idea how to start a mastermind, what it was all about. I just knew what I did when I was in sales. And so I started talking to my friends, my inner circle, people that I knew real close to me who were already doing masterminds. They said, if you're going to do one and you want to build a sense of community, you have to offer something and bring something to the forefront that's personable and that they can't get elsewhere. And so that's what I did. I just started figuring out, well, what does that look like? And I just started asking people. And this is what I would ask of you guys that are in groups is, have you ever went back to the people that are in your community and in your mastermind and asked them, what do they expect? Mm-hmm. What would they like to see happen? Why are they in this group? In the next 6 months, what are 3 things that you would like to personally accomplish inside this group? Now, why do you think I'm asking some of these questions? I'm just curious. You guys can throw something in chat if you want, or you can raise your hand and we can stop and we can peel this back. But here's the reason, is I built out the insiders group from scratch. And I probably have 55, 60 people in the group. We don't want it to be this big, massive community and this big, massive mastermind, because I think it loses its identity. Mm-hmm. But I polled 3 or 4 of my closest friends and just asked them, what would be some of the things that you would like to see? What would cause you to join a mastermind and become part of a community? And the things that I started to hear were, it must be something that's different. It must be something that's intimate. It must be something that's real. It must be a place where I can go to learn some new ideas, meet like-minded people, have some accountability partners. And it's a place where I can become comfortable in sharing what's on my mind, my concerns, my thoughts. And one of the best things that's happened from this is inside my mastermind and my community, accountability partners have grown. And Jennifer's talked about accountability partners. I heard her use the word. Mm-hmm. Is now we actually have people that hold each other accountable. They have standing calls on the weekend or standing calls during the week. And that was one of my big things, is just for me to be the conduit. And this is the big thing is, there's a guy, his name's Davin Salvagno. And most of you guys are probably going to never have heard of that name before. He's the founder of an organization out of Detroit, Michigan called the Purpose Point. And he puts on events every May called the Purpose Summit. I spoke at his one last year. And I remember him saying to me 2 years ago, he goes, you're doing the hardest thing that's possible, is building a movement around your book and your podcast. And he goes, in building a movement, make sure you don't lose your identity and build a close community. Because if you don't lose your identity and you build a close community, your community will help build your movement. And this is what I'd like for us to think about. Y'all might not be building movements, but y'all are building a business, correct? At least I hope so. So what I'd ask for us to think about is get your mastermind and get your community to help you grow your business. And one way to do this is offer something that's unique and offer something that is different. I'll come back to Deb's comment. I don't know if it's a comment or a question in a second, but one of the things that we do inside Jennifer knows this, is one of the things that we do in our group and inside our mastermind is I bring in influential. I'm just giving you ideas on how I've grown mine. Are you guys open to that?
Yep.
Is all I've done in mine is I've kept mine really simple. And every week, and Jennifer knows this, every week at the start of the week, I do a video message. Here's an idea that you can put to help grow your community and give people something to think about in your mastermind every week. Is every week on a Monday, I usually record it over the weekend because that's when my thoughts work the best, is on the early mornings and the weekends. Is Sunday morning, I will do a 4 to 8 minute video on a thought and a message for the week, leaving people with an action item to work through. So how does this relate to your groups and so forth? Is I don't know the dynamics in your groups and things like that, but as you all are working through issues and challenges and ideas that people have, you as the leader of that group, record a video. You know, as we reflect upon this week, or as you head into this week, here's 3 things that I'd like for you to think about this week and why. Here's 3 reasons what community means to me and why. And in that, that's all I've done. And I've done this religiously every week now for 2 years. So I put a message out to start of my week in my mastermind, in my community. The mid part of the week, and this is value add, by the way, to help at least inspire, because I'm in mastermind. I will tell you this, I'm in 3 masterminds. 2 of them, I'm in masterminds because they're friends of mine and I hate telling my friends no, but I get no value out of it. Now, I haven't put much into it, but I don't see much value coming out of it. I just stay in it because I don't want to upset my friend, because they're too. The other one, I get massive amounts of value out of it because they're constantly feeding new information. They're bringing new ideas. They're doing a video. Here's a book I read. They're bringing influential people in to the community. And then the community starts talking. So I do this video. The mid part of the week, I write consistently. Here's what I'd think about as you guys head your masterminds and you're the figurehead in the community. Call it the mayor, right? You're the mayor of your community. Then create something that you write once a week. Here's something to give thought to. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be lengthy, right? So you do a 4 to 8 minute video to start off the week, to kick off your mastermind, to kick off your community, get them thinking something proactive and positive that can help them grow in that week. The mid part of the week, if you're not a writer, that's okay. Find a YouTube video, find something out there, a TED Talk, a TEDx talk. I'm a big Steve Harvey fan. Quite often I throw Steve Harvey YouTube videos in my community. And that goes out on Wednesdays. And then every Friday, 2 Fridays a month, we do group coaching where we just bring people we bring our community together. And I just started putting people in Zoom rooms to get to know each other. And I give them a topic to talk about. And we do that for 30 minutes. And then we come together and we talk about it. This has been the biggest area that I've seen my community grow in my mastermind, is 2 times a month. I bring in thought leaders, authors, people who are near and dear to me, and we call them up close and personals. And Jennifer gets to them as much as she can. I know Nicole's been to a couple of them. If you want to build it, I'm telling you, this has been the biggest thing in building my community, building my mastermind, and getting people to do this talk. Is I bring in authors of books I've read, people that have come on my podcast, so forth. Now you might be saying, well, I haven't written a book. I don't have a podcast, but guess what? Y'all have a network.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are following people. Now, as mastermind leaders, community activists inside your groups, I would encourage you, start following podcasts, start following authors of books you've read, start following influential people. And I'm a big believer, if you ask not, you get not. And just start making the asks. You will be surprised on how open-minded, influential people are to invest an hour, 30 minutes of their time, because it spreads their message inside your community. The other thing that it does is people start looking at you a whole lot different, going, interesting, who else is this person connected to?
Right.
And now why is this so important? And I'll share a near and dear friend of mine. He's my business coach, but Jennifer's has seen him speak. As my business coach is Dave Sanderson.
Yep.
And I'm going to share something that he's been coaching me on, and I've walked right through, and it's helped me build my business, and it's helped me build my community and my mastermind. Is this. For those of you guys who don't know Dave Sanderson, he's still an active salesperson. He happens to be one of the top salespeople for Oracle, but he's got 2 claims to fame. He was the last person off the crash on the Hudson that turned into the movie Sully. He was the last person off that plane in the Hudson River. And he was also the head of security for Tony Robbins for 12 years.
Oh.
We got to travel around the world with Tony Robbins and be coached and mentored. So I found out you either love Tony Robbins or you hate Tony Robbins. I haven't found anyone who's kind of like in the neutral zone with this guy. I happen to like him. He hasn't done anything personally to me to piss me off, but I think the guy delivers some really good content, and it happens to resonate with me. Tony Robbins' first mentor was a guy by the name of Jim Rohn, ROHN. Some of you guys might know who Jim Rohn is. And I try to watch a Jim Rohn video a couple times a week, and I follow whoever posts stuff on his Instagram. I'd follow that because there is a official Jim Rohn page. I don't know who posts. I know it's not Jim because he's long left the face of the earth. But that was Tony Robbins' first mentor. He mentored Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins mentored Dave Sanderson along the way. There's 2 things that I've taken away of all the many from Dave is he's taught me really how to build community ×2. And it's been under the premise of really 2 simple things: proximity to power and build the right associations. So I would think about writing both those things down as you're building your community. So what do I mean? What do I mean by proximity to power? And then after I do both these things, I'm going to stop so people can ask questions. He taught me proximity is power, proximity to power, both the same thing. He learned this from Tony Robbins and how Tony Robbins built out. He's got a huge mastermind. He charges $60,000 a year for his mastermind just for the privilege of showing up. And then there's money on top of that, because what he does in his mastermind is he masterminds things out. Tony Robbins leads it. But what he does is 4 times a year, he brings people together, calls it the circle of excellence, and he puts people in proximity to people of power and who have influence. And that's an extra additional charge. Why am I saying this? Is because when Dave Sanderson started coaching myself and Daryl, who's my podcast partner, he coached us on the philosophy of proximity is power. Now we pay handsomely to have him coach us every month, but every quarter he puts us in proximity to people who have power. And it's up to us what we do with it after that. But it's helped me in building my community, my mastermind, because he's opening up his mastermind and his mentors to me. Think about what I just said and how you grow your masterminds and how you grow your community is put the members as value add. Put the members of your community and your mastermind in front of people who have power. Now, guess what? You might be going, well, pardon the expression, shit, I don't know anybody who's got power and influence. I'm going to encourage you and challenge you on this. I think you know a lot more people than you may know. And here'd be the first one, right? Think of all the community leaders in your marketplace. Think of civic leaders, think of the mayor, think of city council members, right? Things like that. I'm just giving you little simple things to think about.
Mm-hmm.
You could actually bring in, and these guys would be willing to do it. I know they would, because I'm in Kiwanis. Every Wednesday, I go to my Kiwanis meetings. And it just so happens that my Kiwanis member is mayor of the city that I live in. This guy loves going out and speaking at groups. Think about that. Proximity to power. Proximity is power. You as the leader of your mastermind and your community, bring influential people into your groups and have them speak. It's no different than kind of what Jennifer's doing as she brought me into your community. Now so that's one thing that he coached me on that helped me grow the insiders group. Because what I'm doing is I'm actually bringing in the people that he's introduced me to into the insiders group. And I'm putting the people in my community in proximity to people who have power. Next thing he taught me in building out my community was write associations and take massive action. These are two things that he learned from Tony Robbins. Again, build the right associations. It's very similar to put yourself in proximity to people who have power. As you're building your communities and as you're building your masterminds, think of, am I building the right associations? Am I bringing the right people into the mix? And then the second part of this, and I'm going to flip this around and I'm going to use Kiwanis as an example. It's the massive action part of this. Are people in your groups taking massive action on the things that you're doing, or are they just showing up? Y'all know what I mean by that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, well, I can expand on it. But the massive action part of this is I think back to, so in my Kiwanis group, we have the largest Kiwanis group in my county. So we probably have, at the high point, we had 109, 110 members, kind of shrank because it's kind of tenured by age, if you get what I mean. And then it's slowly starting to creep back up again. Now we're peaking at about 90, 91 people. And I was past president as well. But the massive action part of this is you get out of something what you put into it. And that's what I would encourage as you bring people on, is encourage them. This is a place where it's a safe environment, where we're like-minded, we're like-hearted. You can freely speak your mind. We're going to hold people accountable in a great way. I'm going to put you in proximity to people who have power, but you're going to get out of this what you put into it. And that's the massive action part of this. And I think this is the missing link that I see a lot of times with masterminds and community. It's feel good. Yeah, I'm part of this, but what are you getting out of it? Well, what are you putting into it? Mm-hmm. But I think when I say you, is the people that are on this call who are heading up their own, is think about, right? You're the CEO of this mastermind. You're the mayor of this community. It's up to you to create that great experience, and it's up to you to provide that enhanced experience for the people that are in your mastermind and your community. Why? Because people will talk. And I learned that when I was in sales, that if I built a tight-knit community of clients, they would start talking. And I learned that at Selling from the Heart is the same philosophy. So if I built a tight mastermind, if I built a tight community, if I brought in people that I can introduce to my community, it puts them in 1 degree of separation from a lot of influential people that can help them grow. That's value add. They start telling their friends who tell their friends. And then 1 time a month, we allow people to come into our community just to check it out. And it's always around a speaker. Want to grow your communities and your masterminds and your marketplace around what y'all do? Get 1 influential person a month from your marketplace to come in and speak, and offer a free 1-time pass for them to come check it out. We do this one time. We do them twice a month. So we offer free passes twice a month. You can only come once. And then I have my admin person filter out everyone who asks over and over and over again. But we usually get anywhere between 12 to 70 people sign up. And not all 12 nor all 70 show up, but they get access to the recording. But here's the kicker. Start developing an email list that you can market to. So now we've been doing this, I'm guessing these free passes into our community and our mastermind, maybe 6 to 8 months ago. And this is all grassroots marketing. This isn't spending a boatload of dollars to market. This is all grassroots, which means I've spent this much money to do this. Is now organically, we've probably built anywhere between 500 to 750 people just that have requested passes to hear somebody speak in our group. These become prospecting moments for you to grow your community. They've already gotten a sense of what y'all are about. They may not have joined and made that physical commitment. But now I don't know the exact number, I'm just giving you a wide range, but I have, somewhere between that number that we consistently market to pull into our community. So this might be a good place to stop. I know I've thrown a lot at you, but what are some thoughts, questions, comments? You could take yourself off of mute. You could pop it in chat. What are some thoughts, key takeaways, new ideas? What all did you learn?
Come on, people.
I've got a question.
Hey, Dawn.
Hi, this is Dawn. I am wondering, when you once you've organically grown that huge prospecting pool, how do you kind of pare down to make sure that you're still sticking with the right associations, that you're still bringing together?
Great question. So what we've done is we do some email marketing on the back side of this. And I'll get to Catherine's comment in a second. Thanks. So from this list, so I'll give you a classic example, Dawn. This is exactly what we do, but I'll keep it high level if that's okay, without getting into the weeds for time's sake.
Sure.
Is our last up close and personal, where we brought in an influential person, was last Friday. Okay. Those are recorded. And that one it was on the light side because my admin forgot to market it at the right time. But nevertheless, we had about 20 some odd people sign up for that one. That was probably our lowest one, our fault. So from that, I know for a fact 3 people showed up out of those 20. So we record them and then we snip it out, right? Because I'm on the calls early. So I snip it to exactly when they come on, what they talk about. I download it. And then we have an email that goes out. And that email that goes out, Dawn, is basically, hey, thanks for requesting. I'm paraphrasing, but you're going to get the idea. Hey, thanks for requesting a one-time pass to the Selling from the Heart Insiders group. Look forward to having you join our community and our mastermind. Here's the recorded link, right? Here's the link to the recorded video. If you would like to speak with us further about joining our group, let us know. Right? And we send it off. And that goes off to all 20 people, like last Friday.
Okay.
And then from there, let's just say it's you, Dawn, and Dawn goes, hey, yeah, I'd be interested. And then we just bring the human element back into this. Great. When's the time that we can hop on a phone call and I can kind of share with you what our group's all about? It's that simple. That way I can have that conversation with Dawn, and right away we can determine if it's right fit, like-hearted, like-minded. And if it's not, we part ways. Hey, Dawn, hope you got some value from it, right? If there's anything I can do to be a further resource to you, please let me know. If you can think of somebody who might be a fit for this, let me know.
Sounds good.
But I think these are just creative ways that we've done to grow an audience. But now I have a prospecting pool to start prospecting to help build, not only to help build our community and build our mastermind, but I also give these same, passes and all that to people that are in the group.
Okay, thank you.
Where's Catherine?
She's there, but she's not, we don't see her, but yeah.
That's okay.
There she is.
Oh, hey, Catherine.
Hey,
You want to expand on what you
okay.
just put in chat?
Yeah. Did you want me to, sorry.
Yeah.
So I have like a free group associated, like it's not necessarily a mastermind. So it's kind of a related question, but I have a free group that I'm kind of working on growing a community that's got like 200 people. And then I have a very small group that's paid group with what I'm doing. So I guess I'm sort of applying this, not necessarily to a mastermind, but I guess I was kind of curious. Like I liked some of those ideas for the free group, but I also kind of didn't want to, it's a bigger group and it's a different setting. So I guess I just kind of wondered if you had advice about that.
Yeah. So, and this is interesting. Charge, not charge, right? For these. And right off the bat, what I did, and I will tell you this, is when I built out mine, I seeded it. So I seeded it with some friends that could just run some ideas by. And now we charge. And we charge a nominal amount of money, I believe, for the value that they get. So I'm a big proponent. If you're going to charge for your mastermind or to build out your community, then what you bring into that is something they can't find out on their own for free. Catherine, you kind of see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I guess it's just like, I don't feel like, I don't know, I've kind of always liked to have a free space for people in the community that I'm connecting with. So I guess, I'm wondering, like, if I kept that free, I guess I'm just kind of wondering, if that's a different thing when it's free, I guess, or like how you kind of, if you have any thoughts about that, I guess.
But I'm a big believer in personal growth and personal development. And to me, this is how we built out and brought the right kinds of people into our group. Is, to me, when everything's 100% free, pardon the expression, sometimes you're going to get riffraff. Let's just call it what it is. You are going to get people that are along for a free ride. No disrespect, but I'm just calling it as I see it. If you put some dollar amount behind it and you offer some value, people feel like they're getting something in return, right? It's an exchange of value. I give you X number of dollars, and in return, I want some value for it. The value that you get if you come into my group is you're going to get some things you cannot get for free. Because I'm putting people in access of influential people that, I'm bringing people in that charge $10,000 and $15,000 and $20,000 an hour for keynotes. And they're coming into the community, they're given an hour of their time.
Right.
Because of the relationships I've built, and they align. See, the people that I bring into my community as value adds in my masterminds are all like-hearted, like-valued. We share the same philosophies. I'm not bringing in somebody just because they're Mr. or Mrs. figurehead out in the community. I mean, they really, because they're giving up an hour of their time. They're actually coming in for free as value add to my community. And that's where I would, if you really want to grow this thing and get it really sticky, what I charge, I'm not getting filthy, stinking rich off of. It's minute in comparison. I just do it because I know the types of people that are coming in are investing in themselves. And in return, I want to provide some value and provide them some things they can't get on a Google search, and they can't get if they go somewhere else.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. Thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions, thoughts? Some ideas? Does this help in how you build out or look at yours?
As I'm looking around the group, I'm seeing a lot of people who, have communities. You may not have a group, you may not be a leader of one of our groups, but you have your own thing that you're doing. So it's interesting that I'm just glad to hear Larry's kind of agreeing with a lot of what I've been trying to do. I bring Larry in because he's got this great information, and it's something you guys probably wouldn't. He's out speaking to other groups, but I just was like, I know Larry, I can bring him in. And now he's spoken to our groups a couple times, and a lot of you have his books. But we are doing some of these things with our own mastermind. So if you're interested in, visiting our mastermind, we'd love to have you do that. But
So
Linda, yeah, go ahead, Angie. Sure.
Sorry, if I can piggyback on what Catherine said, because I'm sure that Karen and Jerry,
Yeah.
I don't know about Don, but a lot of us, especially in the network marketing field, but also other businesses, business coaches and that sort of thing. We do have, mine is in Facebook, which is where most of us start. We have a group, a community, kind of like what you're talking about. However, the members of that group are people we've come in contact. Maybe it's in networking, maybe they're business owners, but maybe they're customers and they have a regular 9-to-5 job. They don't actually have a business, or they're a neighbor who's a stay-at-home mom who purchases products from us or may in the future. So I have about 300 members of my group, and they're all different things. So I'm kind of just thinking out loud, because my goal was to provide more than just what I sell, education about what I sell for sure.
What do you sell?
I'm in skincare,
Okay.
and it's clean beauty. So there's a lot of clean beauty education, new products, that kind of thing. But I went through a training that talked about what other things do you offer. I'm a Weight Watcher. I love to talk about healthy recipes. We've been renovating our house. I cannot tell you how many people have loved seeing pictures of my living room before and afters, and just sharing stuff that it's not valuable in the business owner aspect, but just people in my everyday life are enjoying watching it. I would like to do more of what you're talking about, but that would only be addressing those in my group who have a business or have some goals inside their business where I could help with that. Does that make sense?
I think I get what you're talking about. Here's some, and correct me if I go down a different path but here's what I'd give some thought to is, since you're kind of in that health and wellness type, sector, I do know this for a fact because we have speakers every week at Kiwanis. Yes, this is all value add stuff. Go out into the medical community, doctors and nurses and nurse practitioners. They love speaking, whether that be virtual or face-to-face. Give them a topic to speak on for 15 minutes, right? If it's diets, right? Go to a couple of clinics in your marketplace and ask some dietitians, can you speak to a group of 300 people virtually, or can you speak to a group of 50 people face-to-face? And just for 15, 20 minutes, share some education, so forth. This is value add stuff.
Yeah, so that's a subject that whether you're a business owner or a 9-to-5 worker or a stay-home mom, and you happen to be in my group, that would be valuable too.
Right.
Here,
Again, these are all value adds. Talk to a freaking handyman in your marketplace, right?
Yeah.
As bizarre as this sounds. Hey, would you come in for 20 minutes and talk about what you do?
I love that idea because most of us are trying to come up with that ourselves and speak on it ourselves. But bringing somebody else in is way easier.
It's way easier. Here's another one, right? Pick up the phone, freaking call the local police department, right? Hey, do you have somebody on your police force that can come in for 15 or 20 minutes and talk about what's going on in the community? I promise you this, they do. Right? Again, go back to civic leaders in your marketplace. Go to city planners, city managers, the mayor, right? The marketing department inside the cities that you all live in. Hey, can you come in and speak to my group for 15, 20 minutes about the current state of affairs in our city?
Yeah.
Bring in the freaking trash company, right? The rubbish company. Talk about waste management and recycling. Again,
Oh, I love that.
This is just value-added stuff on how you build community. Deb said emergency management, right?
Yeah, Deb already came to my group.
And right now,
Exactly.
right, go to schools, right? Go to school districts, get the superintendent to come speak, right? Get people on the board of your local school community to speak. If you have a local community college in your marketplace, get a professor to come in and speak. I challenge you, get really creative with this in your groups. Bring people in and have them speak for 10 or 15 minutes. I promise you this, it'll be entertaining. It won't be boring unless it's death by PowerPoint, which I wouldn't encourage.
I was just going to say, how do you get these people,
I will tell you this. We had a cancer doctor speak at Kiwanis today virtually. That was a PowerPoint dump for 25 minutes. I got up and left.
Oh, no.
And I'm part of the house committee that has to clean this mess up that my Kiwanis do. I whispered to Kiwani and said, I kind of fibbed and I told a little lie. And I said, hey, I got a call in 10 minutes. I got to get out of here. And I left. It was that boring. But,
oh my goodness.
But I'm just saying, bring in entertaining speakers, right? Heck, we've had a local singer in our community come in for 15 minutes and belt out 3 songs and bail, right?
Hey, I'll do that. just saying. Well,
I really challenge all of you and this would be a great topic. I'd just grab a sheet of paper and a pen and think for about 15 minutes. Who are 10 people in my community, right? Think through this and really challenge you to think about this. Yeah. Who are 10 people in my community that I can bring in to speak at one of my masterminds or in my community or in my networking group that's different, unique, that people will find entertaining, educational. Yeah. You can find 10, right? And do it once a month. You got, what is that? 2.5 months worth of speakers that you can market around and grow your groups with. Just a thought.
That's excellent. Thank you.
I can't believe how we run out of time, though. Every time we run out of time. And I know you've got a coffee date to get to.
I'm doing 30 minutes.
Okay. I guess we've got like 1 minute.
Quick question, quick thought in 1 minute. Anyone got one more question or a thought?
Thank you so much.
Oh, that's good. Thanks.
Gotta get that in.
Well,
I think it's interesting how much you're really not focused on bringing people together around a certain topic or content.
Yeah. So I want to touch on, thanks, Linda. I want to touch on that because if you all know selling from the heart, I'm all about authenticity, sincerity, bringing deep business substance to the sales profession. But yet some of the people that I bring in, they align to my values and all that, but they might be the author of a leadership book, or it might be, I'm trying to coordinate because the guy's schedule is freaking insane. I'm trying to schedule a guy who's done ultra marathons across Antarctica. just to come speak about resiliency, right? These are sales, but his message ties into sales and sales leadership. But again, I'm in the B2B business world and working with sales leaders and sales professionals. You're in network marketing and things like that. So you got a wide variety of people to pull from. I would challenge you, just get creative and think about people outside the norm in your marketplace. There are people in your marketplace that'll come speak for 15 or 20 minutes. It would blow your socks off.
Yep.
It may not be around network marketing, but the whole goal is you want to entertain, you want to create some value, you want to bring some new, fresh ideas, new insights, new voices into your community and into your groups. Here's why, Linda, is because I promise you this. If that person is entertaining, drop some knowledge, gave them some tips, gave them some insight, I do promise you this, you'll be looked upon a whole lot differently. And then say you have 50 people there, you're going to have 50 people that are going to chitter chatter about what just happened. I know this because we do it at Kiwanis. There's a great speaker and the chitter chatter flies all over the place. Can you believe that person who just came in? I got to get to know this person, it happens. I just challenge you guys on that.
I would thank you, Larry, very much. I am going to, I'll send out the chat, like I say, probably tomorrow, but I will send that out, and the link to this. Check out sellingfromtheheart.net for more information. And I don't know, some of our groups have had Jackie Joy come and speak, and she works with Larry's team, and she shared, I don't know, how do people find out about the one free visit to your mastermind? We do have our own mastermind, everybody. I want you to know. So
I tell you what, if you want to, and then I got to split.
Yeah, we do too.
Let me just do this and I'll drop it in chat.
Okay.
And you can see what we've done on the website with this.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not looking at you guys. Just give me. So here's my link.
Okay.
I just put it in chat. Can y'all see that? It's sellingfromtheheart.net/free-pass.
Actually, it's a direct message.
Sorry, Nicole.
Messaged you earlier. I'm trying to say if there.
Now, wait a minute, Nicole. What are you doing?
Nicole just dropped me a private message.
What?
How much she loves Jennifer.
Oh, sure. I doubt that very much. Now, if you can try it one more time, Larry.
I'm doing it right now.
We'll leave you alone for the day. There you go.
So you can see, for those who want to look at it really quick, you can see if you just click on that link, you're going to see my next 3 guests and a bio on them. And then you're going to scroll down, you're going to see previous guests, and then it just sends a link, get your one-time free pass. And it's name, email address, and that's how we market a lot of this stuff. If that just gives you ideas.
Cool. Well, thank you very, very much. We're going to let you go. And
perfect. I enjoyed this. Have a great evening. And I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you, Larry.
Bye.
Have a good night, everybody. Be safe.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye, guys.
Jennifer.
Thank you.